Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a question that seems simple but has a surprisingly deep answer. What does it truly mean to be deprived? Now, we all have an idea in our head of what that word means, but as we're about to see, the Quran offers a perspective that might just change how you see things entirely. So, let's just start right there. If I asked you to picture someone who is deprived, what comes to mind? For most of us, I'd bet it's an image of poverty, right? Someone lacking money or food or basic necessities. But is that the full story?
Well, according to the Quranic framework, true deprivation is so much deeper than what's in your bank account. It's actually a spiritual state, something that can affect even the wealthiest people among us. To really get this, we need a kind of roadmap.
And that roadmap comes from the Quran itself. We're going to go on a journey guided by one specific Arabic word, al-mahrum, which means the deprived. This word shows up 4 times. And believe it or not, these 4 mentions give us a complete guide, diagnosing the problem and then prescribing the cure.
Here they are, the 4 chapters or surahs where we find our clues: Al-Qalam, Al-Waqi'ah, Ad-Dhariyat, and Al-Ma'arij. Now on the surface, it's just a list, but there's a hidden layer here that is absolutely brilliant.
And this is the aha moment, when you look at these chapters not in the order they're printed in the book, but in the order they were actually revealed through history, this incredible narrative just pops out. It's structured almost perfectly, like a doctor's visit. You get the diagnosis first, and then you get the prescription.
So the first 2 times this word was revealed, in Surah Al-Qalam and Surah Al-Waqi'ah, they perfectly diagnosed a spiritual illness. They tell us exactly what this kind of deprivation is and show us precisely how a person ends up in that state.
And then, what comes next? The cure. The following 2 revelations in Surah Ad-Dhariyat and Al-Ma'arij lay out the solution. They give us the clear, actionable steps to protect ourselves and the way out for anyone who might have already fallen into it.
So let's start with that diagnosis. What are the root causes of this spiritual deprivation, this loss of blessings? The first 2 verses give us 2 major causes.
The first cause, laid out in Surah Al-Qalam, is stinginess. But it's more specific than that. It's about making a conscious choice to cut off an act of goodness or charity you used to do. And this isn't about some punishment in the hereafter. This is about a direct worldly consequence.
To really hit this home, Surah Al-Qalam tells this powerful story. You have this good man who always gave a portion of his amazing garden's harvest to the poor. But after he died, his sons got greedy. They decided to keep it all for themselves and even plotted to harvest early in the morning so the poor wouldn't show up. Well, guess what happened? Overnight, a disaster struck and their garden was burned to a crisp. And in that moment of total devastation, looking at the ashes, it hits them. They say it themselves, "We are the mahrumun, we are the truly deprived." Their wealth was literally taken away because they chose to be miserly.
All right, cause number 2 from Surah Al-Waqi'ah is all about our mindset. It's the deprivation that comes from ingratitude, from failing to recognize that our blessings, our skills, our successes all come from a divine source. That attitude basically turns a blessing into a source of regret and wasted effort. This brings us to a really crucial principle. The consequence mirrors the action. When a person denies the source of their blessings, they become deprived of the barakah. That's the real blessing, the tangible goodness within those things. Their hard work feels empty, their money brings no peace, and their success feels totally hollow. Okay, so we've seen the diagnosis, stinginess, and ingratitude. Pretty heavy stuff. But now, let's shift gears and talk about the cure. How do you avoid this state and find the path to true abundance and salvation? The solution is just beautiful in its balance. It's not about just one thing. It's about 2 critical connections: our vertical relationship with God through worship and our horizontal relationship with humanity through generosity.
And what's really fascinating here is who the Quran says has a right to our help. It mentions 2 groups. First, a sa'il, the person who openly asks for help. Easy enough. But then it points to al-mahrum, the person who is in need, but their dignity and modesty hold them back from ever asking. So the cure isn't just about giving. It's about proactively seeking out those who won't ask.
So the verses in Surah Ad-Dhariyat and Al-Ma'arij lay out this complete pathway away from deprivation. It's a holistic prescription, right? You've got consistent prayer, designated charity, active gratitude, firm belief in accountability, and the humility to regularly seek forgiveness. It covers everything.
And let's just zoom in on prayer for a second. Surah Al-Ma'arij explains that prayer acts like a fortress.
It literally protects our character from the very diseases that cause deprivation in the first place. Traits like panicking when things get tough and being greedy when things are going well. It stabilizes the soul.
So, let's bring it all home. What have we learned? We started with a pretty simple idea of what it means to be deprived, and we've ended up with something much, much more profound. Let's put it all together.
This table lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have the conventional view. Deprivation is just a lack of money, an external problem that happens to the poor, and the solution is to get more stuff. But the Quranic view? It completely flips the script. It's an internal state, a lack of divine blessing, or barakah, and it's caused by our own actions. It can affect the wealthiest person out there, and the solution isn't getting more, it's cultivating worship and generosity.
So, if you remember anything from this, let it be these points. True deprivation is being cut off from blessing and guidance. It's not just about poverty. Anyone can be deprived. Its roots are in two key flaws: stinginess and ingratitude. And the way out is that powerful, balanced combination of connecting with God and giving to others.
Ultimately, this whole journey brings us to this powerful idea. True deprivation is a state of the heart, not a state of the wallet. It's about the condition of your spirit and the quality of your connections, plain and simple.
And that leaves us with a final thought to reflect on for ourselves. Knowing that the shield against this deeper, truer form of deprivation is a balance between our duties to God and our responsibilities to people, how do we actively build and maintain that balance in our own lives?